This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
Hi, everyone. We're back at Off the Break Podcast.
I thought that was great.
I wasn't expecting that.
Hear my enthusiasm. I am so exhausted from Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
But I'm back. Here I am.
Oh.
And we're glad to have you
I can't blame
back.
you. I can't.
It's me, Cody. With me are Kyle and Eric.
Hi.
I forgot to introduce
It's
myself.
going to be fun.
Just know who I am by this point.
Yeah, Cody's been gone at CinemaCon all week down in
gosh.
Las Vegas, and she's paying the price now.
It is nonstop.
That's taking a toll.
It is. I don't drink that much. I don't eat that rich of food. And that Vegas has the best food, though. I mean,
bet.
everywhere is so good. It's
Yeah.
expensive, but it's good.
Yeah.
Worth that high price.
So much food, so much booze.
Did you get to write it off as like business stuff?
Well, when you go with people, they usually pay.
Oh, there
With
you go.
people.
Yeah. Film company
Yeah,
people.
important people.
Well, we paid for the clients that we met up with. We didn't let clients pay for us.
I would have.
You pay me every day and now pay for this. No, we got the tab then.
Did you get the complete Vegas experience? Where was CinemaCon hosted?
So CinemaCon is hosted in Caesar's Palace.
Ooh, the real
Swanky.
Caesar's Palace.
It is, Caesar's is huge.
Yeah.
And all the events and all the film company presentations are done in the Coliseum. This is where Celine Dion has her performances. Elton John had a
It's Celine
residency
Dion
there.
approved.
It's
So it's like a big deal.
it's big, yeah. And they do a huge screen, Dolby sound, Dolby Cinema. It's the latest, best technology. So if you're gonna see any new trailers or any new footage, you want to see it there at CinemaCon.
Oh, I'm sure they got to make sure everything is perfect for when they present the stuff they've been working on.
That's where they screened some movies too, right?
They did, yep, and they screen them in there in the Coliseum. So, at CinemaCon 2019, they screened the film Wild Rose by Neon.
Got a lot of great buzz, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard really good things. I had to miss it. I had to go to dinner,
Another one.
another dinner, the first of many dinners. And then they screened the next night, Late Night with Emma Thompson and Mindy
that
Kaling.
Amazon Studios film.
Amazon Studios, yep. And then the next night they screened Blinded by the Light, which is a Warner Brothers film. And then on the last day they screened Lawn Shot with Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron.
Nice.
I saw half of it. It was good. I had
Yeah?
to get on a plane because I was busting out early. I just can't do more than like 4 days.
Yeah.
Vegas will kill me if I had to do any more than that.
Yeah, for sure. Can't blame you on that part.
No, but you get up early so you can have breakfast meetings, and then it's how you dine in Vegas. You may have a 6 o'clock dinner, but you won't get done till like 11 o'clock at night. So that's just
not for me.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And then there's the trade show, and that's on 2 floors, and they had some amazing technology at the trade fair this year.
What is shown at the trade show?
That's where like the
The seating companies are
like-
all there, all of the latest in screens and
Oh,
projectors.
it's so weird. I guess I never really
Concession
thought about
Concession
Okay.
companies.
I guess
the
I never
ones
really-
that help the theaters.
I
get
guess
the
I never
product
really
Yeah.
thought
right.
that like seats, just the seats in a theater have to come from somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's,
like
you think
I'm
it's
always
just a part
like,
of the
yeah,
actual
it's just
theater.
like, yeah, that's
my
just the
gosh.
theater, right?
There's so many seating companies, and you really need to go visit their booths because there's so many options.
You
Like,
just got to try them all out.
how padded do you want the back? Do you want a single motor that moves? If you want luxury recliners, do you want the motor to be manual? Do you want it to actually be a motor? Do you
Yeah.
want it to like
Jeez.
move the back of the seat and the leg of the seat at the same time, or do you want what they call a dual motor, where you can control your feet and then control your
Full
head
on lazy
separately?
boys.
Give me the finest luxury seat.
Oh,
Just
They
give me
have-
that
Top of the
company.
line.
guys, they have heated theater
That's a
seats
game
now.
changer.
I wanted
That-
it
I guess
so
I
bad.
shouldn't-
That
I
changes
guess
the
I
game.
shouldn't be surprised.
I
but,
tried to-
we're never gonna get something like that here.
I
so
tried to ask
No,
the big
probably
boss
not.
can
if
keep
we could.
dreaming.
I tried to ask the big boss if we could have him in the office for our desks.
Instead of
Recliners
just
that are
our
heated.
nice
Movie-
Staples office chairs.
Yeah.
Just have single theater seats that have heated.
Right, heated with the recliner.
Yeah.
He said no.
No.
I know. I'll still work on it.
Well,
Okay.
if we start a
Just keep
petition
trying
and we
again.
riot in the office,
right.
Go on strike.
I thought like maybe we could test them out. Air quotes, test out the product for the clients.
and take them for ourselves,
Yeah.
and not give them to the clients.
Well, how else are we going to give good recommendations?
true.
Yeah.
Dual
You
motor.
Can't do it on a whim.
Yeah, you can't tell just based on like a 5-second sit down test. You gotta
do it for years.
you gotta at least sit until it molds and
Yes.
fits your shape.
until
and-
you retire,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
you give the recommendation.
Yes.
Makes perfect sense.
Then there was a company there, My Cinema. They're an alternative content company.
Oh, yep.
They were demoing this new virtual reality racer technology there. So they would have these racing simulator pods that you could have in your theater, and this is like
What?
racing, NASCAR racing simulation technology.
Are they those like those big gyroscope looking things that like move you around?
Sort of, but this is just
How would that fit in a movie
No,
theater?
it's just because it's racing. It's just a seat with the pedals and the steering wheel, but it moves you. So like
It's
shakes.
like VR, right?
Yeah, it's VR. And it steers, which is really common in video gaming. But this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be for like
but this
Fast
is
and Furious
actual.
10, where like
No,
it adds to the immersion?
It's supposed to be a new racing league, so you could go and race and get your points and be on the leaderboard, and then race other locations with this
Just
technology
one of those, like,
and have
fun
tournaments.
game things before
Like the little arcade
Yeah.
section
a movie.
of
Yeah,
a movie
but
theater.
This is not your kid's arcade. This is
Like I'm not gonna put in 50 cents and play it.
No, you're gonna spend like $20 and have a actual NASCAR simulation. Like this is the
Just like
actual.
like in the lobby of a theater.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was before a movie.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
This
I was thinking
Sorry,
like, is this like a
guys.
4D type thing where
No, this is like total. You put the virtual reality headset on. You
I
get
was
behind
right.
the wheel
future is now?
and
Okay.
and do it. So I raced. I did it.
Ooh.
But not very
win?
well and
very
not very long because it gave me motion sickness. I got out and I'm like, I need to be done. I like crashed
Aw.
like 4 times and I'm like, I'm good, because every time I crashed it would be like, "Arr."
Oh, I bet.
You would
So-
feel
Yeah,
it.
it would let you know you messed
It
up.
let me know.
That's crazy. And My Cinema's doing that?
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah. So
We've been working with them recently for
Right.
putting stuff onto our site, but I didn't think
Maybe we
they
can
did
get a
stuff
little.
to that
Maybe we
extent.
can get a complimentary one for the office.
Yeah,
know?
on top of the theater seats.
there's only
All this free
If
stuff.
you're listening out there,
There was only that demo station and one other in existence. This
Really?
is like brand new
Jeez.
technology.
So
Yeah.
they're just testing it out then.
They are, but
Maybe
they're.
they'll fix the motion sickness part.
I told them that they needed to have misters and some like wind blowing in my face. I
you need to
needed the
roll down,
full-
push the roll down window button. And then
Put my
just, like,
fingers
They
on
have
the
those.
window.
They have those in NASCARs, right? They have roll down windows, automatics.
Oh, I'm so weak when it comes to that. I was just like a few jolts, and I'm like, I'm gonna throw up right here
Yeah, it's a little.
in your demo.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
I
There
didn't
was some,
expect them to go to that.
I always forget about the
extreme for that
trade show.
type of
You know,
stuff.
Right.
People hear about CinemaCon and it's all about the studio's presentations and the big stars. But then there's this whole other thing that's
Right.
like the more business side of the
yeah,
theater.
and it's essential. Like you need to go and research the
Mhm.
latest equipment, the latest like.
So does that mean there's like,
practices.
is there like projectors there?
Yeah.
Is there like
there was
you know,
NEC, Christie, all the major projector
big guys.
manufacturers were
Yeah.
there, showing off their server systems, showing off the latest in theater management systems. A lot of new tech companies come. We can do your website and get you an app, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Are all
Mhm.
represented there.
I got a
So
bunch of emails from them.
from a lot of them. So yeah, that was good. That was CinemaCon. There was several studio presentations. I got to go to some, not all, because my schedule gets really busy when I
Because
go.
those dinners.
All those dinners, those drinks.
You have to get drunk with the clients. No, I'm
yeah,
kidding.
that's
That's true. It's an unspoken rule.
right. And the film company people.
Right, and film company people.
I can't be like, oh, sorry, I've got to go see this presentation.
Too bad you couldn't get drunk with like Tiffany Haddish or something.
Oh my gosh, she
That
is
would be too
amazing.
intimidating
You
for
did
me.
walk by
That would be.
Tiffany
She
Haddish,
walked
though,
by
right?
me and she was like mere feet away, and the inner
There was a gust of wind.
starstruck part of me was like, Tiffany, Tiffany, I'm here. But I didn't.
It's me.
Outwardly, I was just calm and cool. Like, I know her. Yeah.
On the outside,
like
you're
Inside
just
Out.
like, be
If it was like
Cool.
It'd be
Yeah.
like Inside Out, where like you're sitting there all calm, cool, and collected, and it zooms into your head, and it's just like chaos. And
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
Yeah, they were
It's
all
her.
freaking out up there. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. She's so funny and she has so much personality in real
Yeah.
life. She's never disappointed me. She's been there. She was there this year with Kevin Hart and did a little skit on stage, and she was there last year, and she's just not been disappointing at all.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll get into it real quick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
we're
talk
probably.
about-
I mean, there's a lot of stuff
There's
there,
so
so we're
much.
probably
I'm-
going to spend a majority of our time on a few from each of the company
Yeah.
or the studios, and then just Cody
I'm
will
gonna
kind of
gloss
breeze
over
through.
quite a bit of this.
Because I mean, it's all kind of the same. The show footage.
Yeah.
it's cool.
So the basic,
Yeah.
the basic kind of like
Yeah, what's
process-
the structure layout?
Yeah.
Kind of.
of a
thing.
presentation is whatever film company it is, whether it's Disney, Warner's, Universal, they usually have an executive come out and talk about their last year in review. So we made this much money domestically, this much money internationally. These were our big films. We couldn't have done it without our partners in exhibition. And
oh yeah,
so,
and thanks theaters.
Because
Yeah,
they think
thank you,
about because they
theaters.
think about them all the time.
Yeah. So after they, do the patting themselves on the back over their amazing year, then they present footage for their upcoming slate. Usually it's mostly summer stuff, but sometimes when they have big films on the horizon, they'll make teases for those. So it's usually either extended trailers, first looks, behind the scenes, or sometimes you get like whole scenes or a whole movie, like with Lionsgate did with the launch shot.
Yeah.
So you don't quite know. Sometimes they bring out stars or directors or creatives or other executives. And then some companies don't, like Disney didn't bring anybody out, but that's okay. They have big movies and you get to see a little bit of the footage.
Yeah.
So it's a mixed bag of stuff, but it does get you excited about the upcoming product. It invigorates you a little bit, gets you thinking about
sure.
stuff. So I think it's always well worth the show of it.
And you were not able to go to STX and what?
I was not able to see STX and Paramount.
That's right.
So-
Paramount was the last one, right?
Lionsgate.
Lionsgate, okay.
So
And that one you missed half of because
I missed
the
half
first
of,
half was
yeah.
Launch Shot's premiere.
right, and
Okay.
I missed the second half of the launch shot movie.
Yeah.
So the first one I hit was Tuesday Tuesday afternoon was Warner's. 'Cause
Days.
oh my gosh, the days just all blend together. And the Warner's was pretty good. They had a lot of content, which Warner's always has a lot of content. But the big things that came out of the Warner's was the Joker footage. Todd Phillips came out, talked about the Joker movie, talked about what it is and what it isn't, and basically brought the first look clip of the Joker.
Yeah, because I mean that teaser dropped early this week, Monday or
The day
Tuesday.
after.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday morning.
Yeah, it dropped Wednesday, and
The poster
people
dropped
were
the day
loving
before.
it.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, the poster,
my
and
gosh.
from that poster, I was like, yeah, I absolutely get the tone of this. I love it. And then the teaser dropped, and everybody was going crazy.
It changed
for
my tune about the movie. Now I'm more interested than I ever was.
I shot you guys a quick email, my write-up thoughts on it really quick, like at 11 o'clock at night when I finally made back to my room. And I said, this is intimate. It's simple. It is close. Like you are close to this person. You're seeing their downward spiral into insanity. And they're not a stable person to begin
No.
with. There's something off about
there's
him
lots
at
of
the start.
like comparisons to Taxi Driver and stuff, which make perfect sense based off
And-
that teaser.
And you just watch him through events and his own, like chaos and cracking in his mind, just downward spiral into insanity.
At least he has his mom there.
But I don't think it helps. Like
No.
it's
Oh,
not.
God, no.
This
There's
is a
creepy kind of codependent relationship.
He's unable, I think, to properly like have emotional bonds with people. But Joaquin Phoenix is the perfect casting for this. So you knew when he came
That's
on
true.
board that
I was
he
like,
was
okay,
gonna-
there's some legitimacy here.
yeah. And this is.
He saw something in the script.
It's
and
crazy
I can
that
see now.
It's crazy that it's a Joker. If he didn't wear makeup,
Yeah,
you
it
would
doesn't
just
have to be about
No,
Joker,
it's just about a person whose insanity is taking over. And,
Mark Maron, I think he's in the movie, and he described
Yes.
it as a character study of a mentally ill person.
Yeah,
or
it
like
really
a tragic, one bad day, like Kyle said earlier.
right. And it's just I was really blown away by the simplicity of the footage and the intimacy in it. Like you really feel like an observer
Yeah.
in this darkness.
I mean, in
And-
the teaser, there was a couple shots of like from behind his sickly kind of bony body.
Yeah, where
that's like
he's-
contorted almost.
or you look like he's physically in pain, like he just can't control the demons anymore.
Yeah.
And they're like coming out
so
of his
dark. Like everybody's like, we want our movies dark and gritty, and
But
it's
this
like,
is like
I mean, I guess you can say it's dark and gritty, but it's just like
Disturbing.
brutally honest. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
ugh.
this is very realistic, very
Watching that teaser, I was like, I don't know. Nothing about this makes you say superhero movie or
no.
villain movie.
It honestly
No,
doesn't
not
feel
at all.
like a comic book movie. It just feels like any
Yeah,
sort of,
and I love
not
that.
any sort of indie drama, but like on that scope of it being a character study. And
Yeah,
if you can do, and we can see like from Logan, for instance, that we can do character studies of comic book characters. And
yeah. Even
Joker
that one
might
though
be able
still
to
had
do
its
the trick
comic
here.
booky things
Right.
to it.
Yeah.
A guy has claws come out of his hands, but this trailer, nothing about it. Not even the makeup,
No.
It just looks like disturbing clown
He
makeup.
doesn't
Yeah.
have the makeup till the very end of the trailer either.
Yeah.
So you
Mhm.
get him,
Yeah.
just him as Arthur the whole time.
Yeah, I loved everything about that
So
teaser.
that
yeah,
was-
definitely
I-
switched my tune.
I was just so shocked. My mouth was open the whole time. I was jaw on
Wow.
the floor like, what did I just witness here?
I think that
so
sounded like the
blown
same
away.
reaction from everyone that was with you.
Oh,
Yeah, see?
it was. We were all like, what did I just see? Like
Yeah.
Academy Award winning performance. I swear. I'll call it
there's
now.
something about this
It has to
character.
be
People are
nominated.
wondering.
This is I was
It's gonna
so
be
blown
weird
away
when you
by
see,
this.
because like, yes, again, it's the movie's literally called Joker, but I wonder how if people are gonna feel the need to compare it to the Heath Ledger Joker.
I think they already are.
Like
they're
I'm
going
sure
to.
they are, but like they're just such different takes. I don't know.
if they're so different in how
But I mean,
they're
the Heath
presented,
Ledger
like,
thing
is
is,
that needed?
it's over 10 years ago now at this point. I feel like there's been enough time where people can be like,
well, and
they can just see this as like a new or a new decade's Joker.
And especially with Leto's performance, people are going to be like, all right, we're ready for, we got over it now. Now we're ready for something
I feel
new.
like Heath Ledger's Joker was more of a master of chaos. And
he's
like,
just the embodiment of chaos, pretty
yeah,
much.
where this is like the chaos, like insanity taking over,
Mm-hmm.
and this is way more of a human, emotional study.
Yeah, if
into
you could
the
take all
human
of the
side it.
chaos and madness that the Joker unleashes on Gotham in The Dark Knight,
Yeah,
and just take all of that and shrink it down and put it inside his mind.
yeah.
That's kind of like what it is.
I think more so.
So I think they complement each other perfectly. So
Oh, it was amazing. Then they had the whole cast, adults and children from It Chapter 2
Oh, that's
on
so cool.
stage. So
They
it
did
was
such a
cool
good
because they had
job
kids
casting that.
next to their adult
Yeah.
counterparts. They talked a little about the kids picking who their person
Mhm.
was.
I remember that.
And I think whoever James McAvoy.
Oh, the main
who's-
Bill.
yeah.
I think his name is Bill.
I think that one
The
got
main kid.
called pretty well.
Yeah.
So
If they chose really well, that's for sure.
yeah.
Because I remember the casting was slowly being announced.
Well, I remember
and we
there were
covering
like
a lot of it.
articles
We were
there.
Like, wow,
a lot of
this
them were kind of
is-
humorous. It was like, who do you see playing the adult version
Yeah.
of you? And
But a
Like,
lot
they
of
got-
it was
yeah.
very spot on, I thought.
Oh.
So seeing like the comparisons between the younger versions and the older versions must have been like really cool.
It was. It was really. It was just fun to see a huge big cast there on stage too. And then they showed some footage of It Chapter 2. I've not seen the first It because, like I said,
because
I
it's
don't
scary.
do horror.
It's scary.
I wouldn't see it because
It's really good.
a little boy gets his arm ripped off and dies in the beginning. I just
Oh, yeah, he
can't.
does.
So
yeah, he does.
Yep.
so sensitive to that as a mommy. So I can't. I have no desire to ever see that. But I
Was
did.
this footage like this or like that?
Well, unlike when they debuted It, the first one, at CinemaCon, that footage, I closed my eyes and just had to listen to the horrible music and sounds.
Jeez, that sounds worse.
I watched this, and it wasn't as scary. it was
Okay.
just more intense.
Yeah.
Because like you saw this build up. You knew so Jessica Chastain's character comes back to her childhood home and
Beverly, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beverly.
And she's looking for her dad, and he's not there. He apparently has died, and there's an old lady living in her. And the old lady invites her in, and
Already
she
creepy.
kind of goes and finds some stuff in her old room, and it's already kind of weird. And then you slowly start picking up on things that something's not right with this lady or the situation. And by the end of the whole clip, you get this naked old lady attacking her. So, yeah, it was weird, and it was more of a build-up, but not necessarily super scary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, detached from all the surrounding context, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but they have to give you something.
Oh, it was still really good, though. I can
Yeah.
see why so many people like the first one. It's just
Yeah.
so
I mean,
well
like I said
done.
before, not only is it really scary for a lot of people, but even for the people who maybe aren't super scared by it, you can't deny that it's just a really well-made movie, and you fall in
Right.
love with the
The
characters.
characters
So
are
Yeah,
so
for
good.
sure.
you're along for the ride.
I mean, on top of that, they had a impressive slate of horror movies as well. You mentioned that
I
it's
feel
all horror
like-
this year for
Yep.
Warner's.
Yeah,
I
they-
feel like it's the year of horror. Like, this is going to be when horror
I mean,
movies
horror's
take
been
over.
on the rise, but now it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
'Cause
they have-
one thing I forgot about was Doctor Sleep on there.
That's
Yeah.
going to be
It's like
interesting.
the sequel to
The Shining.
The Shining.
And you have a young, I can't remember his
Ewan McGregor?
Danny Torrance.
Danny. Yep.
Oh,
Ewan,
yeah.
played by Ewan McGregor.
Yep. So we were both
so,
right.
So Danny from the original movie, who plays the child, is now older and
Yeah.
he's an adult. But that scarring and that trauma has always has followed him. It's never left, and
sure.
so he's just this functioning adult living with this trauma.
Trying to.
And now it's come back to haunt him again. And Ewan McGregor looks fantastic in it. They had more of
He
a
always looks
behind the
fantastic.
scenes footage of that. Where they talked about it. They didn't have too much. They didn't have an official trailer or anything, but you
right.
got a taste of how it's going to be. And I feel like it's got a feeling like it, where it's up, where the quality of the film is really good and it's there, and it's great acting and great characters.
Oh, yeah.
It might not necessarily be super scary, but it'll be intense.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if it's going to be hard selling that this is kind of a sequel technically to
Well, the book
The
came
Shining.
out like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe.
Oh, really? It wasn't that? Oh, I thought it was longer ago.
No, the book is recent. And when the book first came out, people were like, "What? Like a sequel to The Shining?"
Yeah,
What?
but it ended. Yeah.
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 It
And
was that
then
kind
when
of
this
thought.
movie got announced, because I mean, the book obviously wasn't as big as The Shining was.
As
So when
the
this movie was
right.
announced, people were like, "What? They're making a sequel? Wait, what? It's based on a book?"
There's a book?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
There's
that'll be
also
interesting.
Annabelle Comes Home, another one in the Conjuring
That
franchise.
trailer's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
horror trailers are very hard to make people interested in them, but I think this one's gonna do well.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
too bad.
yeah,
And then there's that Curse of La Llorona, which
yeah.
they kill children. No, I don't
She
want to
wants
see
your
that.
children. The tagline always makes me laugh.
So yeah, there were some other films. Good Liar, Helen Mirren came out, spoke about that. There was
Brought down the house.
Blinded by the Light. The cast and the director came out to speak on that because they were screening it later. They had Goldfinch footage.
I remember hearing about that a long time ago. That's
Yeah.
who's in that? Baby Driver guy, right?
Yeah.
Ansel Elgort?
Ansel
Yes.
Elgort.
He plays the adult version of the child. So it starts out where there's a 10-year-old boy and he's at the art gallery with his mother and there's an explosion. He loses his mother. And so then the movie follows him into adulthood as he lives with the trauma of losing his mother in such a horrific way.
I wonder if that's a remake.
I think it's off a book. It's
Maybe
based off a
it's just
book.
like a classic novel or something.
Yep.
Or a celebrated novel.
I think it is. I might have to check out the book because watching that on screen, I teared up. I was like, no baby should lose their mommy. It's terrible.
Just
Why
too
do they
easy
do
to
this?
get to you with that stuff. Like, oh my god.
Or the movie's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Or the
No,
movie's working.
I just I don't know. I'm just so easy. Like, just stab me in the heart every time you take a mommy away from their babies.
Well, on a lighter note, they showed some of the animated previews that they're
did.
going to have coming up.
Yeah, so they have a bunch of titles in their Warner Animation that they're working on. They're trying to bring old prop IPs back. So like Tom and Jerry,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Space Jam. Although that's going to be awesome with LeBron James. I mean, but it's going to be weird because it's Bugs Bunny, and I don't know. Like, does
Yeah,
Bugs Bunny even
that's-
work for kids? Is Tom and Jerry going to work for
They had
kids
a
anymore?
successful show on Cartoon Network not too long ago.
Did they?
Was it not too long ago though, or was it
it?
actually like 10+ years ago?
I'm pretty sure it came out 4 or 5 years ago.
So I think I know what you're talking about. I feel like they've done several runs of like Looney Tunes stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
And
for
then-
sure. Looney Tunes is in the same realm as like Scooby-Doo or
Right. And
Yeah.
they do.
which we'll get into later. Like it's
Yeah.
just a timeless cartoon that just works no matter where you put it in.
Right. So they are
That's a good
remaking
point.
Scooby-Doo. I think the animation is very modern looking and
Yeah,
they're calling it Scoob. So
that's clever. I
I'm
actually like
dating
that.
it.
Scoob.
Yeah, so there's good stuff on the slate. Then we went and saw Universal.
Yep.
Universal's
had
panel, yeah.
Yeah, Universal had a great presentation.
Their huge thing was Hobbs and Shaw, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
gonna
Dwayne
be their biggest
Johnson,
seller.
Jason Statham came on stage, did
That's
their little
cool.
back and forth.
That's really cool.
Those guys are larger than life, literally.
Yeah,
They-
literally.
And they are just
took
like
up
their
half the room.
characters. Like their characters are just like them in real life. Like
They're just playing
Jason
themselves.
Statham is so kind of quiet and reserved and more of like a brooding man. And
Yeah.
and you know that Dwayne Johnson is just like in your face, like
Mhm.
I'm here. Like
The
you
Rock.
need to be reminded with how big he is.
I'm successful.
So they showed new Hobbs and Shaw, an extended trailer, and this was by far the best one. And they left a little piece of the story to unveil now, which I thought was really smart. So while the film might start out in London, where they go to London to kind of go after, I think
Idris
it's
Elba?
Idris Elba and Shaw's sister, who had a run-in with Idris Elba's character.
Is that Vanessa Kirby?
Yes, Vanessa
Okay.
Kirby. Thank you. And so that while they start there and go to London, they actually, through a series of events, have to end up in Hobbs's home, which is in the
Ooh.
islands, off grid, with
Mhm.
his mama and his brothers. So it brings like a real family element into it.
Nice.
And
Fast
I
and
just-
Furious does do that.
And I just love
Family.
how he was like, I'm sorry, mama. Like, damn right. You still call her mama. I don't care how old you get. So it was funny. It had amazing action in it. And that is going to be the best end to summer, I think. You know, just a big
'cause
action
that's
movie.
coming out in around August.
Quite a
beginning of
bang.
Yep.
August.
It's coming out. And,
Yeah, that's a smart move. That's a smart move by Universal to put it there.
Yep. And then Tiffany Haddish, my favorite, and Kevin Hart came out to talk about Secret Life of Pets 2. And
They pass around alcohol to everybody again?
no,
like last year?
they brought out live animal props. So Tiffany Haddish had a little Shih Tzu dog, like her character Daisy.
Aw.
Kevin Hart had a bunny. And I was texting my husband like notes on the thing, and he gets one text. It's like bunny attack, because that rabbit on Kevin Hart was like trying to crawl up his shoulder to get out, and he's all like, he was freaking out. He's like, I'm gonna throw this
He
rabbit.
does his Kevin Hart freak out.
Oh, he went off
Sounds,
script. You
right?
could tell he was just like, I think he was worried that rabbit was going to pee on him. I was like waiting for
Yeah.
for it
Just
to come
for the
out.
dribble.
Yeah.
Bound to happen.
That would have been really funny to see.
Or
'cause
poop on stage.
He's so good at doing like those
Rabbit
loud
nuggets.
freakouts.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Kevin Hart freak out.
They didn't really show anything new footage-wise from Secret Life of Pets.
Yeah, they
It was
already had a
just-
lot of trailers.
Yeah,
Well,
it-
because they did the whole character trailer.
Right. It was
approach.
just more of like what you kind of already saw. So the fun part was definitely them coming out. We saw Good Boys. We saw Dog's Journey. Dennis Quaid brought a dog, Peaches, out
Dennis
to,
Quaid.
to introduce that footage. It wasn't anything new that you hadn't already seen either, but it was fun to see Dennis Quaid.
Did they show new footage of Good Boys?
No, it was mostly just the extended.
The Red
just-
Band
yeah.
trailer.
Extended Red
It
Band
wasn't
trailer?
even Red Band.
Oh, it wasn't?
What?
Okay.
Not really. No, it was pretty subdued compared to pretty much what you had seen before.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen and Evan Peters did come out with the three boys, the cast, and try to do like a little skit. And I just love Seth Rogen on stage. Like
Yeah, he's a
his
funny
laugh
guy.
is just so like,
It's contagious.
it's just this funny chuckle that everybody knows his laugh, and it's true and it's real, and he really does sound like
Yeah.
that in real life. So that was kind of fun.
No, he's one of the best for sure.
Then they previewed Ma,
I'm so
trailer.
excited
That
for
looks
Mom.
that
so messed
Blumhouse
up.
horror movie.
Octavia Spencer
Yeah.
has been playing like just the most gentle, like motherly figures
Yeah.
for so long,
Oh, and then
and
she
now
plays like a psycho.
yes,
I
it's so
love it.
great.
She's unhinged.
Yeah, she's probably
So
never had more fun
unhinged.
with a role than this.
And that's what she said. She's like, I just want to do something freaky. I want to do something that I've never
she was
done
there
before.
talking about
yeah,
it?
she came on stage.
Oh, I would love to
with the
listen to her
director
just
who-
talk about anything.
who directed her in The
Help.
Yeah.
Really?
And he's
yeah,
like
it's the director of The Help.
this like
Wow.
kind of Southern guy.
I did not know
and-
that.
Reuniting with
Yeah.
Octavia Spencer. For
And they're like, we're
a
best
different
friends.
type of movie.
And I asked him, I was like, do you have anything that's different? And he's like, well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Welcome to Mars.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing. I can't stop saying that ever
I
since I
saw-
saw that trailer.
I caught that trailer again when I was watching Pet Sematary yesterday, and I just was laughing with my friends because
Yeah,
we were
it
like,
just-
"What is this?"
It just ratchets up like crazy.
yeah, it's one of those Blumhouse horror movies where they know like what they're making.
Yeah.
Like they know it's not gonna be like a straight horror movie, but that it's gonna be a little
it's-
bit more
it's-
enjoyable of a
yeah.
horror movie. If that makes sense, it's kind of like a
it's
Happy
gonna be
Death
funny.
Day,
I
type
just
of
hope
vibe.
she's victorious. She kills everybody, turns them into plaster models,
It looks like that's what she's
stashes them in her
gonna do.
basement, and she just goes back to doing what she's doing.
Anyway,
Oh
that's
my
cool that
gosh.
she got to she got to talk about that. I would love
Yeah.
to just
She was in
listen
this
to anything she
beautiful
talks
dress,
about.
and it was like a pink top, and it was really cute.
I
and
love
you see
her
this
so
trailer.
much.
Yeah, she's one of the.
Oh.
She's also one of the best.
Oh, she's absolutely one of the best
Right between
actresses
Seth Rogen
right
and
now.
Yeah.
and Octavia Spencer.
Then they had the director and the cast of Little come out,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and Marseille Martin, who plays the young girl version of
Yeah, the person
Regina King's character. Is it Regina King?
Regina Hall.
Regina Hall.
that Jen Hall, gets
Yeah.
turned when she gets turned into a kid.
Yeah. So apparently she, at 10 years old, had pitched this concept for this film to Will Packer, who does Will Packer Productions,
Yeah.
Girls Trip, all that.
Mm-hmm.
And so she actually now is like the youngest person ever to have an executive producer credit because this was her
Wow.
idea. Yep.
I wish I could just be in a room with a producer and pitch a story idea.
Yeah.
Come on.
I know. How easy, right?
Well, I mean, if the movie unfortunately,
Insulated Hollywood bubble.
if the movie does flop, though,
Right.
like people are gonna be like, "Who do we blame this on? The 10-year-old or someone else?"
Or the adult that was like, that's a good idea.
yeah, or Will
genius.
Packer.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool. It's pretty
Yeah,
cool
that is.
that
I mean, it's
people,
cool little bit of
any
trivia.
person can have an opportunity like that.
Right. So that was kind of exciting. Then they DreamWorks now is distributing through Universal.
Yeah.
So the latest DreamWorks title was there and featured, and that's Abominable.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed some footage. It was the special effects weren't done yet because it's still pretty far out.
Yeah.
But they had posters there for it in the registration area, and they were like fuzzy, like
Oh, really?
with like a Abominable Snowman face sticking out.
Like those little cardboard kids books with different.
Yeah, but they were like
fur that
it
you
was
can
like
feel.
all super fuzzy. So I thought that was clever and cute. And the movie looks super cute. It just looks like a nice DreamWorks like adventure. Yeah, this girl goes on an adventure and finds like friendship and inner strength and all that stuff. But
Beautiful.
super cute. I'll be
and the
taking my
usual
son.
jargon.
Good,
Yeah.
good life lessons.
Yep. They showed Downton Abbey, which
Over my head.
I have no idea. I've never seen an episode, so I guess people are excited. I just thought
The fans are excited.
I was excited to
I mean,
see.
Downtown Abbey fans
Yeah.
are passionate.
I
They're
took
just
right.
when I took my mom to see Mary Poppins Returns, they had like that first teaser for it, and she was like, "Ah!" Like, she was freaking out about it. And
Well-
she's a fan of the show, so it's definitely going to be targeting towards them.
I liked to see Maggie Smith on camera again. That was
True.
good.
Yeah, that's always a joy.
Then they had a little teaser. Henry Goulding, Emma Thompson came out for Last Christmas. This is a film that Emma Thompson wrote.
Oh, wow.
You know, because
Yeah, I
she's a
didn't know
writer and
Yeah.
she does do scripts, and so she wrote the script for this film. Amelia Clark, Game of Thrones, is in it, and she plays the love interest to Henry Goulding's character, and she works as like an elf in this year-round Christmas shop.
I love the
So-
idea of a year-round Christmas shop.
Me too.
It's like a dollar store. Like,
Yeah, it's
how,
gotta be
how are you still open?
So depressing. 11 months out of the year.
Yeah.
And then they had a quick thing about Queen and Slim, which is going to be a very diverse black film.
That sounds like the most
Pretty-
interesting one on their
Right, pretty
slate.
urban. So yeah, that we'll have to just wait and see more stuff on that. But that
They did they have footage? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, they did have a little footage. I don't have the gal's name right in front of me, but Daniel Kaluuya. Oh my gosh,
I told you the name 10 minutes ago.
I know.
Well, not 10 minutes ago.
I butchered it. I'm sorry.
No, I'm bad with
apologize.
names too. It's
but
okay.
he's in it, and after a traffic stop that goes poorly, a white police officer is killed, and they go on the run, him and his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And it just talks about like your legacy and trying to like maintain this love and this relationship when apparently your whole world is coming crashing down.
Jeez.
So very intense.
Very, somewhat dark stuff.
Yeah, diverse voice,
Yeah.
diverse cast. So that should be good, but it'll pretty much play in certain areas.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if it's as urban as you're saying, like some areas
not gonna
in the
play.
U.S.
Yeah.
will be.
Little towns.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah,
And
it's
then,
just not even an option.
and then the whole Universal thing ended on Cats, which comes out at Christmas.
Oh yeah.
They had a behind the scenes look, so they don't have any of the effects done because they're going to do digital costuming over the actors. So it'll be.
That's weird.
I'm thinking Green Lantern, but cat suits.
Oh, well, I hope
The
not.
technology's gotten better.
I'm sure it'll be better. But essentially, that's what it is. It's Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds in a green suit that's digitally imposed.
Yeah.
Only they're cat suits, and it's Jennifer Hudson and Taylor Swift.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
cast is
It's
pretty.
power.
It's
yeah.
pretty good cast. Like it has Idris Elba and Sirian McKellen.
I think it's
and
Tom
Yeah.
Hooper.
Judi Dench is in it, right?
The director of like Les Mis and The King's Speech.
That's a good point.
You know,
he's a very
Oh,
talented director.
It's gonna
So
be good.
maybe he could pull it off.
maybe a lot of people like to hate on him. But
I've never even seen Les Mis. Like I just don't do big
it's a good movie.
musical.
Yeah, I mean,
films.
it's hit and miss for people.
But Jennifer Hudson came out and sang a song from
yeah,
the
she's in it
movie.
too.
Oh my god, her voice is just so powerful and
Yeah.
so beautiful. And when
Unreal.
somebody is that talented and has that special a gift, you're just blown away
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, she was amazing.
I mean, what will help about this movie is that they hired musically gifted people.
To be in it,
Yeah. I mean, you can make some arguments that some people from Les Mis don't have musical theater
No,
experience.
not all of them did.
Not all of them did, but here they definitely everyone they've casted so far does. So I mean,
it's kind of that
despite
meta
Cats
aspect.
not being like a
Yeah.
very big sell, like at least they brought in talent to make it maybe a worthwhile watch. We
Yeah,
just have
they're
to see
probably
how
going
the
to play that up.
technology's
You know,
gonna
it's going to
look.
be the whole like, come see the biggest singers of our time.
biggest musicians, biggest musical
Right.
theater
dressed up as
talents.
cats.
Yeah.
That's just
Well,
going to be the weird part. Is how is this technology going to make them look as the cats? Because
Right.
like they're going to be
When does that come
digitally
out?
rendering
Christmas.
fur on them
This year?
Yep.
Yeah,
It'll be counter programming to Star Wars.
for sure. Definitely. Kind
Then-
of like what Into the Woods did a few years ago.
Oh, I remember
Yeah.
that.
Then the last presentation I made it to was Disney's. I was really more going not for the product, but just to see how they were going to address the Fox issue,
Sure.
which is the big elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And it did it directly and clearly, right?
Oh, so directly and so clearly. No, they are going to release some Fox titles under the Fox 20th Century Fox banner.
Okay.
So that's good. They are going to leave Fox Searchlight autonomous in of itself. So that they have their slate and their staff is
with the
fine.
award season success
They're gonna-
Searchlight's had, they probably don't want to mess with.
No, they're going to say
It's
you
gonna be
do
their
what you
new
do well.
Miramax.
Yep. And so they showed some Dark Phoenix footage and talked about Dark Phoenix. They showed Stuber footage, which was I didn't know
that one.
it is Dave Bautista and Kumail Nanjiani.
Not Johnny.
Nanjiani, thank
Oh,
you.
really?
And I
love it already.
Kumail plays an Uber driver and Dave Bautista plays this like police officer, and he gets in this Uber and he's like, we're going around getting guys today, bad guys. So
I would just starts like that. He's like,
it
okay.
does. And then they like then the scene they kind of stop and these girls get in and he's like, what is going on? And he's like, well, you picked the carpool option. These are your other poolers. and so it just is a nice juxtaposition of like overly masculine brawn and
Yeah.
then this
Yeah.
like more like feminine, masculine kind of like what they're trying to say is like
More
weak.
introverted,
Right.
quiet guy type.
Yeah.
Beta.
beta
Yeah.
guy. Thank you.
As
Proper-
they say.
Proper term.
Beta.
Alpha male versus beta male.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they team up and it'll be like a buddy comedy. So it was funny. I laughed out loud at it.
I love Dave Bautista so much.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
they
he's really turned into a pretty darn good actor.
you know, he understands his physicality, so he has a
Yeah.
presence. So
Yeah.
his comedic timing, he can play it really dry because he
Yeah.
lets his presence speak for himself.
he does.
Where
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, whereas The Rock is still in your face and like very extroverted. Dave
No,
Bautista
Dave Bautista's
can hold
very
it in.
outspoken on not liking being compared to like The Rock or to
Yeah.
John Cena. You know, these wrestlers who went on to become larger than life, huge faces of blockbusters.
Yeah.
And Dave Bautista's like, I just want to make good movies with people that I respect and admire.
And he's also
Mm-hmm.
aware about his acting capabilities. Like, obviously, like, we've seen him growing as an actor, but
Right.
he's come out and said, like, he knows that he's not the best actor, so he's picking the roles that suit his
but you-
strengths best.
Absolutely, and you can see that because nobody's going to look at Drax or even his small role in Blade Runner 2049 and
Which I think
say that
was
was a
pretty
poor
darn good.
performance.
Yeah.
I think they're both great. I love him.
It
Me
is nice.
too.
It is nice to see a wrestler like Dave Bautista like go into a different role like that. I mean, it's great seeing Cena and Rock doing these.
Yeah, they have their
normal
shtick. They have
roles,
their thing,
shtick
you
roles
know?
because those are fun to do. Like that's why we go to their movies so much. It's
Right.
because we like what they do. But it's also nice to see other guys that have come from a wrestling background want to like go in a different route and not be the next.
Yeah, he just
Cena
wants
or
to
the
take it
next
more
Rock.
seriously,
It's
just-
appreciated.
Right,
Yeah.
but he has his own, I think, drier sense of humor, and I
Oh, yeah.
really
Yes.
appreciate that because coming from somebody that's so big and physical, he doesn't have to do the slapstick. He doesn't.
He doesn't have to be larger than life.
No, he can.
He's more subtle.
He's already big.
Unless
he
he's
can
Drax.
command presence.
Then
and
he's not subtle.
Yeah, I just
In a way, yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting footage because I thought for sure that would be something that maybe if they were going to put something on streaming,
Yeah.
might go to that. So I'm so glad it's going in theaters.
Speaking, I just want to add this real quick. It also looks like New Mutants will be on their theater slate as well, right? That's what
They
I
didn't
was hearing.
talk about it at all.
But
They
it-
didn't even mention New
Wasn't there a
Mutants.
schedule?
I read
for it,
somewhere
though?
that like the release slate was, I don't know if it was
What-
leaked or just
what they-
released.
no,
but
what
it's
they
technically
did-
on there.
What they did was they had, these are our Disney on our slate this year. And then they're like, and now that we've had Fox, this is the Fox. And they put Fox up there.
Oh,
Now,
and
Ad
it's on there,
Astra was up
technically.
there.
Mm-hmm.
New Mutants was up there. But they even said at the end of that, this could change. There's a lot of
absolutely. Okay.
competing, like competing release dates.
Mm-hmm.
This could all change, and we're not going to talk about all the Fox
Just very-
features.
just
We're
very
only going to
vague.
talk about
Okay.
3. So they only talked about Dark Phoenix, which is July. This is the big last X-Men movie coming
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
They talked about Stuber, which is the comedy, and then they also showcased Ford versus Ferrari.
That sounds really awesome.
It was awesome. I didn't know what to expect from it at all, but it's Christian Bale, it's Matt Damon,
Sold.
it's cars in the 60s, I think. Like
Yeah,
so.
the battle between
Yeah.
the two of them.
Matt Damon plays, I can't remember his name, something Shelby. And Christian Bale plays a driver, and they're trying to create a car to do this race that can beat Enzo Ferrari.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so it's about how much money gets spent on it. It's about how fast it goes. It's about getting a guy that's down on his luck driving it, and that's not the nicest guy in the world, but he's the best driver. And yeah, it's there's a scene where the descendant of Ford, the guy that owns the whole company, he's getting into this prototype he spent millions of dollars on, right? He's like, you want to take it for a spin? And then the guy is like, sure, and gets in. And Matt Damon is driving it, and he takes him around the track, like going crazy. And then he like flips it at the end, spins it around. And the Ford guy just starts crying, like, oh my God. And you don't know if it's happy tears, sad tears, scared
Thank
tears.
God I'm alive.
It's just
thank God
more
I'm
of
alive
like,
tears.
oh my gosh. It was such a good,
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
one of the biggest ones. I was reading a bunch of buzz
People were
about.
raving about that trailer.
it was
I can't
so
wait
good.
to see it.
Well, I mean, you got Matt Damon and Christian Bale, and Christian Bale is such an amazing actor.
Yeah.
Like, he really is so good
Yeah.
and so different. You can never see him play the same character twice
For sure.
in anything. And And him and Matt Damon have great chemistry and play off each other really well. So that looked great.
This is the director of Logan, right?
Oh, I was just gonna ask.
Yeah.
James, someone. Mangold?
Yep.
It might be. I'll have to double check on that. But if it is, though, that makes me even more curious
Mm-hmm.
about it.
So that they touched on those Fox titles. We'll yet to see. I'm sure that's going to develop over time. What happens? With
Once their
integration.
streaming thing is more concrete, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Then
I
we'll really
think
start
they're
seeing
a lot
changes.
farther from it than maybe what everybody's assuming at this point.
So that's kind of what I'm starting to think.
Then they did their Disney slate. Going through it real quick, they did not show anything from Frozen 2 or Star Wars. They mostly concentrated on summer product. They showed a scene from Aladdin. It's basically the scene from the time he rubs the lamp to when the
musical number.
Yeah, the musical number of "You've Never Had a Friend Like Me."
Okay.
Then they showed some Maleficent behind the scenes footage.
Oh.
So if you're not familiar with the first one, this one still finds Maleficent and Aurora kind of living together in the woods. Yet
Roommates.
yet their life is turned a little upside down when Prince Charming comes to and wants to marry Aurora. So now she's thrust into this human family, and how is Maleficent going to fill in? And then there's the evil queen, but you don't think it's Maleficent.
That
Might be
weirdly
the
sounds
other
like
one.
Shrek 2.
Yeah, kind of like Shrek 2.
That's so funny. Okay, anyway.
What else did they go over? They had 14 minutes of footage from Toy Story 4.
Oh, wow.
So it's the beginning of the film. You find out what happens to Bo Peep, why she's not there in later films. So it starts off 9 years ago when he is still Andy's toy, and they're doing this daring late night rescue of an RC car. And then it flash forwards to when he's now Bonnie's toy, and it's Bonnie's first day of kindergarten. And you find out how Forky is made on Bonnie's first day of kindergarten.
I cannot wait for Forky. I'm going to love that character.
Well, I shouldn't tell you this, but Woody goes into the trash to get some pieces so that Bonnie can do an arts and crafts project on her first day, and she makes Forky as part of that. Well, because he went to the trash, got pieces. New Forky, who just came alive, keeps wanting to go into the trash. So Woody's trying to down, and he's like, "Where did he go?" And you can see him like, dee, 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 into the trash.
Jeez, that's so sad.
I love this character so much.
Yeah.
This is where I belong.
Yeah,
Oh my
but he
God.
doesn't like fully have words and stuff. You can see it develops his intellect over time.
Oh
so
yeah, I'm sure he's
His
like a little
awareness,
infant toy.
yeah, so the talking Forky you get later is not who you get at the very beginning. It's more of like just grunts and screams, like caveman type. But then you do hear a little like trash. Ah!
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm going to
It's so
love
out there.
it
I
so
love it.
much.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
That was good. What else did they have? Oh, Avengers Endgame footage. It still all takes place in the first 20 minutes. So if you've watched all the trailers, the footage we saw fits into that scene right before Thor grabs Dawnbreaker and stares down Captain Marvel and is like, "I like her." So you get the pre-context before that, just a few minutes. So it just is all filling in the first 20-minute pieces of stuff. Anthony and Joe Russo were there. They did partake in a filmmakers luncheon, and they were on the panel. And that included Olivia Wilde, Elizabeth Banks, and I can't remember the guy that does Rocket Man.
Oh,
director.
Dexter Fletcher.
Yes. They were all on stage talking about just being filmmakers, what it was like to have your first film, because Olivia Wilde, Booksmart is her new film.
Right.
What it's like to have that first scene, that first test screening. And then Anthony and Joe Russo talked about this film. They hadn't even gone to film school yet, but they made a movie. And then they took it to the Film Mart in New York to try to sell it. So they had a screening there. And it was a weird, non-linear, story. And so they were warned ahead of time, hey, if it's really out there, people will leave, because they're not there to enjoy the film. They're just there to sample product to buy.
Yeah.
So a lot of people walk out.
Yeah.
Well, they walked out, and then more people walked out, and then more people walked out, and then there was barely anybody left. And I guess this other famous director came and was or no, he's not a famous director. He does the some film festival in Utah, not Sundance, but another
Okay.
one. And he's like, you should have this. It was good. You should have it in the other one. Apply for it. He didn't even say it'll get in. Just
Yeah.
apply for
Yeah.
this other film festival. And they're like, okay. And they applied and get in. So they got 2 screenings. So they talked about that, but how like
Interesting.
crushing it was because everybody left and people walked out of that screening too.
And now look where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Though,
On top
it's-
of the world with the biggest movie ever made.
Yeah, man. Crazy what life can throw at you.
Yeah.
That's
Then-
really cool. Though. I would have loved to have listened to that.
It was pretty interesting. They talked about in Elizabeth Banks and Olivia Wilde's perspective of transitioning from being actors to directors. And
Oh, right.
does that give you a different perspective? And Olivia Wilde's like, yeah, like you can always blame the director when it's something's poor, but when you're the director, everybody blames you. And you know,
Mhm.
so it was interesting to get them. They were very talkative. It was a good lunch panel.
That's awesome.
And
So how did that work? Were they like up on stage eating while everyone's like
No.
eating in the seats?
no, everybody was sit down at tables. They were up on stage, just in chairs, talking while everybody was
So they were smelling the food and hearing the clink.
clink,
of,
clink, clink, clink,
yeah.
clink. Yeah, and then they were talking.
That would drive me nuts if I was up there. If I was a director,
I was the
on the
director.
panel, that would drive me nuts.
Elizabeth Banks is so outgoing. She is such a big personality. Yeah, she talked about Charlie's Angels. She talked about like casting Kristen Stewart. She talked about her other films.
I would have loved to hear what her
She-
casting of Kristen Stewart.
She directed Pitch Perfect.
yeah,
2.
2
Pitch
and
Perfect
3.
2 and 3.
Did she do 3?
I think she did 3.
What was
Oh,
it was
okay.
2 her first with her directorial
Yeah.
Yeah,
debut?
that was her.
That was her
No,
first
and it was
time.
solid. It was
Yeah.
good.
And she talked about that. She said it was really difficult because you inherit somebody else's casting, you inherit
Yeah.
somebody else's tone and feel, and you have to live up to that. And as your first time,
You could
that-
tell that was a struggle too.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
enviable, or I don't envy that position.
no. But she talked about in Kristen Stewart, she said casting is the big thing, like the number
yeah.
one big thing that the director does. And she put a lot of emphasis on it being an actress and director because it's important.
Yeah.
And she said, I cast though for the role. And she said, I wanted to see Kristen Stewart as an angel kick butt. And she's like, I don't think audiences are ready for this performance. Like they're not going to expect this from her.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's right too. People still think of Kristen Stewart as the Twilight girl when really she's grown as an actress, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it'd be
no,
really
she's
cool to see her
great.
do something like this.
She's always been a great actress. It's just those
I mean, yeah, she's
stupid
been solid
movies
in
gave her
Twilight. It's just the
you know.
reputation.
exactly.
So that was
That's
kind
really
of
cool.
fun. And then we went, then Lionsgate had their presentation and they did just a quick talk and then they screened Launch Shot. And I got to see the first half of the movie and it was hilarious. And
Nice.
Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron, like you kind of believe it. Like,
Yeah. That's the whole point of kind of one of the big points of the movie.
yeah, you
I mean, that's like the
believe-
tagline. What's the tagline of the movie? It's like
That's the
not
point of the
likely but
movie?
possible, or you know,
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh, okay.
But in the
It could happen.
they
I
talk
don't know.
it's that I think that works, that whole idea of the Launch Shot works for their relationship, but also I think as you get through the movie, and I don't know what happens in the other half of the movie, but she is going to run for president. She hasn't made her declaration yet. By the middle part of the movie, she hadn't come out yet, but that was the end goal. And I wonder if like the Launch Shot also goes to like her ambitions as well, you know, try
I
to
played to both roles.
yeah. So
Yeah, that's kind of the feeling that I got from it. So I'm sure that's the point of it as well in the movie.
but Alexander Skarsgård is in it, and he plays the Canadian like prime minister.
Yeah, is he funny?
He like plays a Justin Trudeau type, young, handsome.
Yeah.
Does he have
trying
wacky
to-
socks?
They are always pictured together, and like they play up for the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
But he always is like totally Canadian. And he's a little bit of I would call him like a little dweeby.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
On it. Like he's handsome and suave, but still a little like, do you want to go somewhere quiet, eh?
Yeah.
You know, and you could just tell she's not into it at all. But something about Flarsky,
Yeah, she likes that cuddly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's come on, Seth Rogen.
right? Well, and they
I
knew
would
each
love
other
him.
as children,
Stupid people.
and yeah, there's a really funny scene of something really funny happens as kids with them.
Oh, like a flashback of them as
Yeah, because they were childhood friends, right?
Yeah,
Or she was
they
like
were
his
next door-
crush, wasn't she?
She was next door neighbors, and she was older, and she babysat him. But she was only 3 years
yeah.
older, so it was like a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old.
That's kind of weird.
It is weird. Anyways,
I love that.
I really want to see the ending. I want to see how it ended up because you want them to make it.
Yeah, that's got me more interested now.
And then that was CinemaCon, everybody.
That was your experience.
Yes,
That's a lot of stuff
And
though
it
that you're
sucked
able
all
to
the life
cover.
out of you.
it did. I am so tired.
Yeah,
All
we
the-
can.
She's gonna crash right after we're done here.
What else do we have to talk about?
Just this upcoming weekend,
Yeah.
Kyle saw an early show of Pet Sematary.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
we had already
did.
seen Shazam
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
and talked
Shazam's the
about
other
it.
big one. Shazam and Best of Enemies are
Yeah,
the other
those are
the other
three
new
big
releases.
How is-
But yeah, give us your quick spoiler-free
Pet
thoughts on Pet
Sematary.
Sematary.
It's a solid horror movie. I think it's definitely going to be scaring a lot of people. It's also surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, but there's also a lot more character depth to this movie, I would say, like especially since there's a family
Yeah.
aspect throughout the entire story, so they really need to make sure like there's intimate moments to where you really feel and root for these characters, and I think that has a great payoff to it.
What's the best part of the movie and what's the best aspect and worst aspect of the movie?
The best aspect, I think it's aesthetic. I think
Yeah. It
'cause-
kind of has that kind of just brutal look to it.
Yeah, it does. And there's brutal
Bleak.
shots and brutal action sequences as well, which are really good too. But I think just the aesthetic to it is really what helps make the tone of this movie all the more worthwhile.
Nice.
And then the worst part, I guess the one criticism I have for it would be either its pacing issues or just it feeling not completely fleshed out as it should.
Yeah. It's kind of speed through.
Yeah,
here
it
and there.
feels like it. At points, it does feel like it's beat by beat, copying off what the book does. And I know there's some differences in this version from the book, but still, it does have those moments where it feels like it's kind of like a checklist type
Yeah.
movie, and it doesn't really take its time to flesh the story out even further. But I think overall, it's pretty solid, and people can have a good time, even as a casual
So
horror
it's not
fan
as
will
good
have
as
a
It,
good time.
because everyone's going to compare it to It with this like rebirth of Stephen King movies.
Yeah, I would say it's probably the better one if you do want to make that comparison, but I think people will still have a good time with this.
Nice.
And then so this weekend we have Pet Sematary, Shazam, and Best Enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shazam's going to take it.
Oh my
I
gosh,
guarantee.
I would say so.
Shazam is so good.
Yeah, I finally get to see it. I'm excited.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. I think you're going to have a blast
I've
with
never
this one.
seen Zachary Levi in anything, I don't think. What's he known for?
He's so
Chuck.
good in this.
I know that show was a very popular show. I never watched it.
He was the voice of the prince in Tangled.
And he was in Thor, I thought.
Yeah, he played one of the 3 Gahoons or whatever their names are in Thor 2 because he replaced the other actor.
Yeah.
I never saw that movie. So.
Well, that's fair. And he did
No, I'm
fine with
excited.
that.
I love what I
Never
see of him in the trailer. Every time he goes like, it's like, "What's up? I'm a superhero." It's like I love how he says that.
It's crazy. He totally plays like a 14-year-old boy in a man's body. Like,
Yeah, I'm
but it's
excited.
very believable and not like off-putting at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's very heartfelt still in his portrayal.
You can tell ever since he got casted, like he loves being this character.
Yeah.
Like it just oozes out of the screen, and people are gonna really latch onto that.
Oh, I'm excited to see how this, like, once general audiences and everybody can see this movie, how people kind of see its place amongst DC movies or just, superhero movies in general.
Yeah, same here.
It's so
same here.
weird because you get this Shazam, which is so like family friendly,
And then
plays
Joker.
younger, and then Joker is so dark. Like Joker,
I like
you
it,
don't
though.
even want to take Joker out of the closet. That's your dirty secret in the closet. Shazam is like in the living room entertaining your relatives.
I like it though. Like they're definitely wanting to go in the direction of making these movies a
So
little
different.
bit brighter and a little bit more
Well, just based on the character, what's the right tone?
audience-friendly in tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that too. It's all about the character as well and how their tone relates to the movie's overall tone. But I also like that they're willing to try some different stuff and just be their own each individual movies.
I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
I do like the more fun tone of Shazam, but I'm so impressed by the darker, intimate side of what we're gonna get with Joker.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Birds of Prey and
That movie's gonna
Suicide
be
Squad
wild.
are going to be somewhere in between.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just that they learn from their mistake. You don't take one overall aesthetic / tone and apply it to everything. That
Yeah.
doesn't work.
It only works for Disney
Yeah.
and Marvel.
Yeah. Somehow it only
For
works
some
for
reason.
Disney. But that's good though. That means that the studio isn't going to be another
Exactly.
Disney type
and
as
like we
well.
talked about
Which
before
Disney
with
has good
James Gunn
stuff,
doing
but it's-
Guardians and the Suicide Squad, I feel like hopefully in a perfect world, people will just kind of come together and they'll be
It's
like,
going to
yeah, we
calm
can like
fan
Marvel
bases
and
down.
DC.
Yeah,
'cause,
I totally agree with you. I hope that
fan bases are just so just terrible sometimes.
Yeah.
Like just toxic and echo chambers of just terrible stuff.
anger about anything.
For some reason.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you care this much?
I enjoy this stuff too, but it's also a movie.
It's so weird because I always experience these things at CinemaCon, which is theater owners and managers.
Yeah,
and
not the-
fandoms.
Nope.
I mean, we all
Right.
have
Fandoms
our.
don't go to CinemaCon.
Well, I have my fandoms. I know what I'm there like excited for
Sure.
and hoping for, but I still appreciate everything that comes through there. Like we
Yeah.
love everything.
Yeah.
And so it's weird to be in such an accepting audience that's looking for just great product from any source. And then you see something and then it goes out and then the fandoms like attack it and
Just
you're
in
like,
a
but it was
possessive
fine.
us
It was
versus
good.
them.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
So I definitely appreciate CinemaCon for that. I like going and being in a room with
Isn't
where
this nice?
everybody's just
People
enthusiastic
just
about
enjoying
it.
the movies.
Yeah.
yeah,
They're just,
about anything. Like
they're
whatever
excited
they
to
like.
see whatever they can see. They're grateful to see it. They're
Mhm.
appreciative
That
of
is,
it.
I didn't really think about that. That's got to be a really nice, just atmosphere.
It is. It's just
it's what's supposed to be about, celebration
Right.
of the movies.
and they
Even though it's
people
probably,
clap at the
Perfectly
end
said.
and through it.
They're still
and-
patting themselves on the back about all the billions they made,
Mhm.
but
yeah, that part gets annoying.
the movies are still
I
celebrated.
feel like they have nothing else to say. Like they don't know what to say.
Yeah.
So they're like, "We did good job. We did good job."
Walk up. We made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing our product so we can make a lot of money.
It's all positioning.
Oh man, yeah.
Well,
that's
thank
pretty
you-
much all we've got. So.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for all your thoughts
goodness
on
this is
CinemaCon.
over. So I
Yeah,
can
we
go
gotta
take a
end
nap.
this. Cody's gonna fall asleep if we keep going.
Yeah, for sure. So
I'm so tired.
Yeah, go check out Shazam, Pet Cemetery,
Yeah.
Best of Enemies if that's your thing.
Oh my gosh. And maybe we'll have write-ups and more tidbits when I like wake up a little bit. I'll tell the guys more stuff about CinemaCon.
Maybe if it comes to me.
I am having the hardest time thinking about it. I mean, we were trying to talk about it earlier. I'm like, oh yeah, and then this happened, and then a few minutes later, be like, oh yeah, and then this happened.
just wakes up. Oh yeah, and another thing.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
hopefully we'll have more rides for you up at silverscreeninsider.com, as well as you guys being able to capture all of those trailers that we're talking about or reviews that we're talking about. It's all on there. So check
Kyle,
out Silver Screen Insider.
Are you gonna have a early review of Pet Cemetery?
He's
then
working
for
on it
us?
now.
I'm working on it right now.
Okay.
Should be uploaded soon.
Yay! You gotta check out Kyle's Pet Cemetery review.
Thank you.
Nice. Okay.
Take care, guys.
Until next time.
Goodbye.